My name is Dr. David Richard. I am a professor of psychology at Rollins College, and I will be a visiting professor at University of Richmond teaching Psychology 200 in the fall 2017 and spring 2018 semesters. And what I've done with this course is I'm putting together a bunch of videos. This is the first one, an introduction to the course, that will help you get through the concepts and explain many of the things that we'll be doing throughout the semester. So let's get to it right away. What do you say? This course is a big course, and it's a challenging because of its sheer size. Now, I have a Canvas site that you are probably already familiar with that houses all of the course content, and everything we cover in this slideshow presentation can be found in the syllabus. This is just a different way of presenting pretty much the same material. So in terms of the student learning outcomes for the course, boy, we got a lot going on. Really, this course is going to help you with critical thinking. We're going to get to that through weekly analysis and writing assignments, a research proposal, class discussions. I would also say that concept mastery is a big part of the course. We'll have learning videos, textbooks. You'll be studying for examinations. You're also going to find that you'll have improved decision-making skills because you'll be engaging in formal training in hypothesis testing, null hypothesis testing in particular, demonstrating inductive and deductive reasoning skills. We're also going to work hard on improving your writing and making you proficient as a scientific writer. So we're going to get to that through intensive feedback, writing feedback, the research proposal, weekly writing assignments, and so forth. You'll also improve in your basic research skills. So you're going to learn how to do thorough literature review searches. I'm going to help you with strategies on that. The APA manual, you'll be learning that as well. So there's all sorts of really kind of neat things that we're going to be doing through the course to help improve your research skills. And beyond that, we're going to be looking at career preparation. Are you thinking about graduate school? Do you want to move on to do something that's in the research field? We'll talk a lot about that. And then finally, you'll be mastering the APA publication manual style. So lots of really strong learning outcomes. This is a foundational course for the rest of the major, meaning that all the things that you learn here will be important in helping you to understand what comes later. That's why it's such a critical course. If you're building a house, that foundation is really pretty important to make sure that you have a sound house built later, and it's no different with this course. So we have to be really thorough and careful in terms of the concepts that we're exposed to over the course of the semester. So it'll be a lot of work, but it'll be a lot of fun. Course meeting times, there are two sections that I'm teaching, Section 2 and Section 3. For Section 2, Tuesday, Thursday is 9 to 10:15. The lab then is on Fridays, and the class will be split into two lab sections. One is at 9 to 10:15, the other is at 10:30 to 11:45. And then Section 3 is a Tuesday-Thursday class, 1:30 to 2:45, so it meets the same day. But then the labs are in the afternoon, 1:30 to 2:45 and 3 o'clock to 4:15. So for those of you who are early risers and morning people, it looks like Section 2 is your best bet, and the afternoon folks are Section 3. Now, in terms of office hours, I'm recording this in May, so I don't have my office number yet. I know I'm going to be in Richmond Hall, and I know I'm going to be on the ground floor, so I'll update that when we're in class. But I will have office hours. They will be Wednesdays from 10 to 12 in the morning and from 4 to 5 in the afternoon. But even though I have formal office hours, I have a policy, I've always had this policy, that if my door is open, you can walk right in, okay? And I will drop what I'm doing and we will talk. So if you ever see me in my office and you just want to chat about something, my door is open. Don't feel like you have to schedule an appointment. That open door means you can walk in. We'll also be doing periodic Saturday breakfasts at Howman Dining Hall, which I've had the pleasure of experiencing a couple of times, particularly because my son, you may or may not know this yet, my son is a brand new Richmond Spider starting this fall, so we came up for parent orientation a couple of weeks ago and had a chance to go through the dining hall. So what a wonderful experience that is. So on Saturdays, we're going to be talking about research. We can talk about how the class is going or how you're doing in other classes. It's a chance for us to just have a sort of a casual, friendly atmosphere, discuss ideas over coffee and just, really kind of hang back and and answer any questions that you may have. So I have a calendar that's going to show you when those breakfasts are. Would love it if you come. If it's a relatively small group, up to say 8 to 10 people, we can probably do that all in the dining hall. If it gets larger than that, then we may just have breakfast and move over to maybe the psychology department into a classroom to have more discussions. But I'll let you know when those are taking place. It should be a lot of fun. This course I've put together and I've organized it so that it's very systematic in how it treats the concepts. There are 3 texts. We have Morling's Research Methods in Psychology, very approachable, very engaging book on research methods. Then there's the SPSS Survival Manual by Julie Pallant, and that's really your go-to book in terms of how to do analyses within SPSS. Also teaches some statistical concepts in there as well, but most of the focus is on SPSS. To be clear, a lot of the learning regarding statistics will come through materials that I provide to you. And I do that because I think there are certain ways to educate in statistics and help students understand the materials. And so I'd like to provide you a lot of those materials rather than relying on necessarily a formal statistics textbook. The publication manual, APA publication manual, everybody needs to have. You need to know how to write in APA style to be an effective student within this program. Like I said, there's going to be videos throughout the semester. I'd like you to be watching those on Mondays as the semester continues. The reason I say that is because if you watch the videos on Mondays, then you're prepared for class on Tuesday and Thursdays, because the videos are really going to do an overview of the concepts that you'll then be reading about and discussing in class. So the videos are meant to sort of prep you, and then we get to class and we'll have more in-depth and complex discussions rather than simply me trying to tell you what the concepts are. And then finally, we'll be learning SPSS. SPSS is the most widely used statistical processing program in the country. We're going to be learning a variety of applications of it and analyses. So that's mostly what we'll be doing in labs on Friday. Okay, in terms of the assignments for the course, the weekly analysis or writing assignment, the WAWA, comes out once a week. It'll be due on Wednesdays in the evening, and it's really a chance to show that you can apply what you're learning in class. So, a good example might be I'll present to you a research problem with a data set, and then I'll say, okay, using SPSS, run this particular analysis on this data set. What did you find? Write it up in APA format. And so we'll walk through how to do that on Friday in lab, and then your assignment with that material would be due the following Wednesday. Now, when you turn that in, I'll give you a grade, and typically that grade will not be what you're hoping for. It'll be probably lower than what you'd like, and the reason for that is you're learning. And so at this point in your understanding of what you need to do, you're not going to be there yet. So you're going to have to be able to write the right analyses, run the right analyses, write it up in APA format. Along the way, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and that's okay. So what I'm doing with these assignments is I will give you feedback, and I will give you a grade, probably not the grade that you want, but then you can turn it in one time again. Okay, so take that feedback, change your response, modify your answer according to the feedback, show that you can learn from it, and then I'll give you a second grade, and your grade for that assignment will always be the second grade. Just the only thing I ask on that is just make sure that you are actually substantively improving the paper. Don't just turn it back into me without making changes. If you do that, then I'm actually going to take a point off, because I need to know that you are actually benefiting from the feedback. There's a midterm for this class, and it's in 2 parts. The first part is in class, and then the second part is a take-home. The in-class part of the midterm is multiple choice, short answer, and essay. And the take-home part is open book. It'll be more applied in terms of using SPSS, running a problem, and so forth. For the take-home exam, it's open book. That doesn't mean that you can consult with your classmates. It just means that you can use your textbook, you can use any notes, pretty much anything you find on the internet to help you and so forth. But I don't want you actually communicating with other students. It really does need to be your own work. The final is pretty much just like the midterm in terms of how it's structured. The only difference is that the take-home exam is due first, and then the in-class final is the last thing we do for the course. And the other assignment that we'll be doing is a research proposal. In this course, you will be actually doing a literature review, a method section, proposed statistical analyses, and then a discussion section as well. It's a pretty thorough proposal effort. You're going to learn a lot doing that, and I'm going to be giving you a lot of feedback. Expect to be turning in multiple submissions, getting a lot of feedback that you're responding to, and so forth. So really, the course is broken down into these various components. The weekly, the WAWAs, they are worth about 40% of your overall grade. So there's 10 assignments at 20 points each. The midterm is worth 20% of your overall grade, 100 points. The final is worth 20% or 100 points. And then the research proposal has a number of stages that you turn in. It's also worth 20% of your grade or 100 points in total after you turn in all of the various parts of that assignment. Okay, if you're ever in doubt in terms of what to do and so forth, you can always go to the Canvas site and you will see the course calendar, something like that, moving a little quickly right there. But you can always download that and it will help get you through the course. The grading scheme, pretty straightforward, 92% and higher, that is an A. So for those of you who really value that straight A 4.0 average and you don't want to jeopardize that, that is your goal, 460 points in the course. I will be offering some extra credit, but it's typically not a lot of extra credit, but I will offer some, and how much I offer will depend on what we're doing in the semester, when opportunities come up, and so forth. But I do offer minus and plus grades, as well. I don't know if that's a Richmond policy or not, but I've always offered minus and plus grades. So there's your breakdown. You can find that in the syllabus. Tips for success for the class. My door is always open to you. Stop by. And please take that seriously. I would love to see you. I would love to chat with you about your research project, how things are going with you. Hey, if you're having a tough time in school, you just need somebody to talk with. I am a clinical psychologist. I have been known to help students out when they need some help. So please swing on by. I ask that you please put away electronic media unless we're using it for class purposes. So no surfing on the internet while we're engaged in class. This has just been increasingly an issue within classrooms that I've seen happen. It used to be, 5-10 years ago, I'd have maybe one or two people that were texting in class or something like that. And now it just seems like everybody's doing it. And so I really view our time together as valuable, and the classroom as being sort of a sacred learning space. So I'm really hoping that you'll take me seriously on that. If I get too distracted by your surfing, then I'll ask you to leave the class, and we'll have a discussion later about that. So I think students have told me that the thing that works the best for them is just close the laptop if you're not using it. If we're having a discussion, we're talking about something else, and you don't need that laptop open or you don't need the phone out, just don't have them out and just remove that temptation, because I know it can be tempting. It's hard for me to compete with what you can see on YouTube, or text messages from friends. I just can't compete with that. So just put it away. Thanks. Okay, study in the recommended sequence. I've broken the Canvas site down so that there is a sequence for you to study. Please follow that sequence. Typically speaking, on Mondays, I want you watching videos at home. That's a pretty cool thing. You come to college and your professor says, go watch some videos. Those videos are going to be set up, as I said, purposefully so that you are doing an overview of material for the week. If you have questions, send me an email. I live and die on email, so I'm always there. I will get back to you right away. And then some assignments may be turned in more than once. Those are the WAWAs. The WAWAs really allowed you to take advantage of being able to continuously improve and respond to feedback. I don't want to just see you turn something in. I want to see you get better with feedback. And don't get behind. This is not a course that you want to get behind in. Okay, in terms of the academic honesty policy, I'm not going to go over it here. Richmond does have an academic honesty policy, and it has a whole set of procedures behind it. Make sure that you know it. If you have a question about anything that's going on in the course, or you're not sure that what you're doing is legitimate or crosses the lines, just ask me. Okay, I'd much rather have you ask and me give you an answer. Nobody has ever gotten in trouble doing that. But if you engage in a behavior that compromises the academic honesty policy, then that becomes an entirely different set of circumstances. And just keep in mind that if you engage in behavior that crosses the line, a response from you on something along the lines of "I didn't know I couldn't do that" is not a satisfactory explanation of behavior. So think of it this way: if you were driving a car and you ran a red light and the cop pulled you over and you said, I didn't know a red light meant to stop, the cop wouldn't take that too seriously, right? So if you're in college, you are expected to know what plagiarism is. You're expected to know the academic honesty policy. And so claiming that you didn't know that something crossed the line is not a very good defense. Hey, have a great semester. We're going to have a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong; it's going to be a lot of work. But I think what you're going to find is by the end of the semester, you have learned a heck of a lot. You have a greater appreciation and understanding of research and statistics in particular, and maybe you even kind of launched your way into a research idea that will benefit you during your whole career, undergraduate career here at Richmond. I'm really excited to work with you guys, and I will see you in the classroom.